I once humiliated myself while trying to impress my in-laws.
Please, Tim.
When was this?
The first evening I met them, 24 years ago.
What were you trying to do to impress them?
I was trying to make a cup of tea.
Trying?
To impress them?
Yes.
Had you offered to make everyone a cup of tea?
Yes.
What, in their house?
Yes, in their house.
You see, that straight away, I go...
Yeah, yes.
That's weird. Can I make you all a cup of tea? Well, no, you can't. It's my house. So you've gone to make the tea?
Yes.
Have you done all the milk, sugar, all
Yes,
that?
I've done all that. I've asked all the right questions.
You've done all the admin?
I've asked all the right questions.
You've gone in the other room.
Yes.
What the hell went wrong, Eddie?
I put the kettle on, the hob, and I turned the hob on, and I could smell plastic burning.
So you put an electric kettle?
Yes, because
Why?
I had the stovetop version and they had the electric version.
Oh, no.
So I put that on there and then turned it on, and it melted.
So what did you do?
My wife, my girlfriend at the time, came in and just chucked it under the tap.
You hadn't even thought to do that yourself?
I'm not very practical.
You just stood there looking at the melting...
It's not easy.
Where does he whistle? And it's all dripping down. It's weird, that kettle. It's getting smaller and smaller.
And then what happens? When do the parents... Do they find out about it?
Well, my father-in-law kept it.
Kept the kettle?
Kept the kettle.
Why?
Because when we got married, he had to make a speech and brought out the kettle.
Were you planning to marry Mark Lawrence?
Well, that's good. He immediately thought, this guy could marry my daughter. Unless he put it in the cupboard. When he opened it, loads of props fell out. Another one. Another idiot.
So what's it going to be, then? Kadina?
I think the detail in it makes it seem quite real. And the fact that he said he brought it out on the wedding
That's the
day.
bit, innit? He's got a good imagination if this isn't true.
I think it's true.
True.
OK, they think it's true, Eddie. Was it true, or was it a lie?
It was true.
When I was a doctor, I accidentally sent 2 patients for procedures they didn't need because I'd got their forms mixed up.
Oh, so each other's form?
The test that they needed, I put the wrong one on the wrong person.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
Because, in fact, you've rather understated your crime, because not only did you give them tests...
Crime is a very strong word.
Well, I'll commute that to act of gross professional misconduct.
Yes. It was a very different time, David.
How long ago was this?
Well, I wasn't a doctor for long.
No. Probably for the best.
What tests were they?
There were 2 patients, and one required an X-ray of their neck.
Right.
And then the other one required a barium enema.
A what? What's a barium enema?
So that is where you squirt a radio-opaque dye into the anus, I'll say the word.
Were you like this as a doctor? I'll say the word. Anus.
One of them had a barium enema they didn't need, but also didn't have the neck X-ray they did need.
I then had to sort of correct that. So they ended up having 2 tests each instead of 1.
Well, hold on. Someone went in, right, for a neck X-ray and happily laid down and had an enema. Just because it said it on the sheet.
That is a hell of a blockage.
I never used the word happily.
How did they not question that? Did they not say...
Well, they wouldn't have understood a technical phrase like neck X-ray. They'd have no idea what that means.
The lady who required the neck X-ray and got the barium enema said to me she was impressed at how thorough I'd been.
Did it help, these extra tests? Did you find anything up this lady's bum or this man? That could have saved them in the future?
No, fortunately, those were normal
So
tests.
neck lady had a perfectly healthy bottom, and bottom guy's neck was A-OK.
Did you, at any stage, come clean to these patient A and patient B?
Of course not.
All right, What are you thinking then?
That's
Koji.
impossible, man. I can't go for a neck X-ray and get something in my bum. Crazy.
Stacey.
I couldn't tell you what it was like in those days.
No, exactly. Exactly, Stacey. It was a different time.
What
it was
year?
a different time.
What year?
This would have been 1988.
What was it like then?
It was a different time, you know. But yes, I think doctors carry a lot of authority.
Yeah. And who do you complain to? You know how difficult it is to get to see a doctor at all.
Yeah, they won't want to see you again if you just complain.
You don't want to be known as a pain in the arse or a pain in the neck.
I think it could have happened, but equally...
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, well, honestly, I fear for people who grew up in that time.
Well, if you two are both convinced it's a lie, I won't overrule you, because it definitely might be a lie.
All right, then. So, Harry, was it true or was it a lie?
It was... true.
I once climbed into a crocodile enclosure because I wanted to get a closer look.
David C.
When did you do this, and where did you do this?
When I was little in Nigeria. It was a crocodile-themed restaurant.
It's the restaurant's gimmick that there's a crocodile enclosure with real crocodiles, and you can watch the crocodiles as you dine.
Yes.
On crocodiles.
How easy was it to get into the crocodile?
I mean, at that time in Nigeria, we didn't have health and safety. We had the concept of common sense. So, for example, if there was like a street next to a river, there wasn't a fence and a sign saying caution, river next to street. Yeah. Because the Nigerian philosophy is that if you can see the sign, you can probably see the river. I hopped over the fence because I wanted to look at them because I just thought they were cute and friendly and stuff. And I got close to one and they just like came at me. And luckily for me, I didn't know. I just found out by accident. But they're fast running in a straight line. But if you take a corner, it's hard for them to kind of like...
Yes. Yeah. You're meant to run away from crocodiles in zigzags.
Yeah,
I didn't know that at the time. Yeah. I was running straight, but he was gaining on me. I was running, and then I just, like, took a corner and hopped the fence.
And what sort of state were you in?
What do you think?
What, terrified?
Have you been chased by an animal before? Anybody?
I've been attacked by a crocodile.
Yeah, there you go.
When were you attacked by a crocodile?
We were in a Louisiana swamp. We were rescuing crocodiles.
Will they not have been alligators?
Alligators.
Oh, well, I don't want to hear about it then. It's totally irrelevant.
I got chased by an ostrich as well.
No way.
Yeah, in a police officer's house. He's quite a well-to-do police officer.
Okay.
Because they take bribes. No. He had a lot of exotic stuff in his house. And one of the things he had was an ostrich. I got too close to one and I was laughing at it because it was doing, I don't know whether it was a mating dance or a challenge. Like a... I kind of ended up doing the dance back. That probably wasn't a good idea.
And it chased you?
Yeah.
So who did you say you was with? Who was looking after you?
On which occasion? The policeman's house or the ostrich or the restaurant and the crocodile?
Well, I mean, I'd like to know both, really.
So, my parents practiced free-range parenting. Although that being said, I was more scared of my mum than I was of the crocodile.
So, what are you going to say? What are you thinking, Lucy?
I think it's true. I was listening to it like it was a real story. I forgot, actually, we were playing a game.
Fran?
I think it's true, because you haven't embellished it any further. You've kept with the story.
What he hasn't done is add any feathers.
Well, look, he has, in the sense that he's added an extra story of being chased by an ostrich.
Lots of feathers, yes, I'll take it back.
Maybe he jumped to that truth story because he needed a break from telling a lie.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe.
Then why didn't he tell the show's researchers about being chased by an ostrich? That would have been equally interesting, particularly at the huge private zoo of a corrupt police officer.
What are you going to say?
I do not know.
You have to make a decision, David.
True.
You're saying that it's true. Nabil, was that true, or was that a lie?
It's not true. It's not true.
Which one is it? What?
It's too late, but I sense now it's not true. I have that feeling.
It's not too late. You can change if you want to.
Go on then. You had a feeling then.
There was a smile the way he was smiling. He was smiling like, I've got him.
I don't know if it's true or a lie, but if you now get this right because he's got you want to change your mind, I'll be livid.
OK, I'm going... Lie.
You're saying it's a lie.
I think so.
Nabil, was it a lie or was it true?
It's true.
Aside from Mr. McKee, who taught PE, 3 other teachers at my school taught subjects that rhymed with their surnames.
David's team.
OK, so Mr. McKee taught PE.
Yes.
Who else?
Mr.
I'm having a coffin. Genuinely having a coughing fit.
Mr. Katz.
Wait, are you ready? Okay, I'm better now, thank you. Carry on, Tim.
Mr. Katz.
Oh, good God. Good God. If you say Mr. Meography, forget it.
Mr. Katz.
Mr. Missile and Technology.
Mr. Katz. K-A-T-H. Mr. Katz.
Yeah.
And Mr. Hench. French.
Mr. Hench, Mr. Katz, and who else?
It was a little bit tenuous, the third one. It was a bit of a joke amongst us. So it was Mr. Hort taught sport.
You got PE in sports?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, PE was something that happened in lesson time, and then sports was something that we did, obviously.
But what did Mr. Hort teach?
It might have been what was called loosely then science, so it would have been... You know,
surely that was Mr. Bryant's.
No.
I don't know, he's always got this face that makes you feel like he's telling the truth. Like, just the most simplest things where you'd be like...
He's got a simple face, I agree.
Give me 4 teachers whose names at your school rhymed with subject. Go.
Mr. Starmer. He
did drama.
Mrs. Panish.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Bleak taught Greek.
Yeah.
Mr. Gratin taught Latin.
Yes.
This is fun, isn't it?
Yeah, let's just do this.
Come on, it's time to decide.
Lie.
All right, Tim, they think it's a lie. Was it, or was that the truth?
It was actually a lie.
I once accidentally gate crashed the BBC News.
David's team.
Oh. How did you find yourself wandering into the news?
It was the 25th anniversary of the TV show Friends.
All right.
And what's your connection with Friends? You weren't in Friends, were you?
No. I did, like, a video where I created the whole episode.
One of your YouTube sort of pastiches was
and
of
they
Friends.
sort of assumed I was a super fan.
So you were invited onto the programme?
It was on a sort of Skype, Zoom thing. And 5 minutes before we were about to go on, I lost signal, so I called them back, and they were currently in a Brexit negotiation.
They were literally negotiating Brexit?
That was the segment before.
That was what they were talking about.
So I phoned them back, and then I get a text from my friend saying, your face has just come up on the screen on the BBC News that you're calling the news. Went, you know, over the interview, and there my face pops up.
And your friend texts you to say that?
Well, my mum, upstairs.
Well, you said it was your friend, it was your mum.
No, it was my mum.
You can be friends with your mum, yeah.
Yes, I know that, but
I'm friends with your mum. What? What's wrong being wrong? I like your mum and I'm a friend of your mum. What do you think I meant? There's something wrong with you, Rob.
So your mum...
You sleep with a woman once and it's a problem. Get over it.
She did say, she said to me, Rob, you know how you're always saying how Lee is so quick? She said... Well, what do we think then? Kadif?
I feel it would happen to you.
I want it to be true so much that I'm going to say it's true.
Yeah.
Well, I think we think it's true.
Yeah.
Right, Lucia. Was it true or was it a lie?
It was true.
Whenever I have a bath, I always sit in the empty tub first, then turn on the taps.
Please, T.
How long for?
Well, depends what I'm doing.
What might you be doing while you're sitting in an
sometimes
empty
shaving
bath?
my head.
In the bath?
Yeah.
Well, when you put the bath on, all the hairs are floating in the bath.
Well, I don't know, maybe it goes down the drain before I turn it on.
Well, how the hell does it go down if you haven't turned it on? You got a massive straw? Are you naked at this point, by the way?
Of course I am!
Don't talk to me like I'm the idiot. You're sitting in a bath with no water in it, mate.
I just find it very comfortable. I also quite like the fact that it's quite cold in there as well.
I was going to say, that's the problem, right? You're going to have a cold bottom.
What about additives like a bubble bath or some bath salts? Which do you favour?
Yeah, bath salt.
Oh, do you like to put the salts in first on their own? Just sit on there like a really miserable slug.
I just don't believe one word of it. Why would you sit in a bath and shave your head?
I can't shave my hair outside. I don't have a garden. So I realised when I was shaving...
Weirdly, I do have a garden. I've never realised what I was supposed to be using it for.
Can I ask a question? You're shaving your head. Are you manscaping?
Every now and again.
Would you explain to David what manscaping is?
It's sort of shaving and making sure everything looks neat and tidy. Like a golf course. Like a golf course.
Let's just do a little poll here. Is there any single person in this audience, just put your hand up, who gets into the bath with it empty, sits there naked, and then watches as the water slowly rises up?
All right, Rob, you don't have to say it like that.
There's a few people!
Really?
That's weird, because it's all the bald men.
What are you thinking, Sam? Truth or lie?
Would you be open to shaving other men in the bath?
Sam, we're a pre-watershed show.
It sounds all right, I don't know.
Is he telling the truth?
For a long time I thought he was, but then some of the stuff Lee was saying, I was like, all right. I would say that I believe Lee in some of the things.
It's not me doing it, it's him.
I think it's a lie.
You think it's a lie? Yeah, we'll say it's a lie.
They say it's a lie. Was it a lie, Darren, or was it true?
It is a lie.
Whenever I drive the car, I can't help but make vroom vroom noises.
Please, team.
You mean you? You actually go vroom vroom while it's going along?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose it goes back to when I was a kid and you're playing with cars, you know. And the cars now, they waft, don't they? They go... And so if you're going into a roundabout... you know...
Yeah.
So you get, you know, so you're on board. You're on board.
How long have you been doing this for?
I do it unconsciously, I think.
Unconsciously when you're driving?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't pass my test until I was 30 because I was always a motorcyclist, you see. So I was used to the noise.
That's quite late to pass a driving test, isn't it?
Yeah,
David, how old are you now?
I'm 49.
And when did you pass again, remind me?
I haven't passed.
Oh, you haven't
yet.
passed, have you? That's it.
Have you ever tried? Have you ever sat your test?
Once.
And what happened?
What do you think?
Well, we know you failed. What happened?
No, you know, I crashed into a mobile library and exploded.
Did you go back in time? Mobile library.
Well, it was in the past.
Was it a DeLorean that you were driving?
Oh, this is a good opportunity for me. Marty! We gotta get back in the car! I'm doing Doc Brown. Thank you, Grayson, thank you. Right, Cush, what do you think?
I think it's probably true, only because your performance of the Vrooms was so quick.
Tim Vine.
I think it is true.
You think it's true?
Because I
thought we were coming to a close. I realised it was the start of something. Sorry.
I just wanted to give a reason.
You can't park there, mate. Well, you wound it the same way. Surely the other way to go back up.
It wasn't down properly. It's true.
We're going to go true.
Grayson, they're saying it's true. Was it true or was it a lie?
True.
I have diagnosed myself as suffering from a condition I call HPS.
Right, Lee's team.
So, the obvious question, what does HPS stand for?
Heavy pelvis syndrome.
Heavy pelvis syndrome?
Ah.
Are you showing off? Can you describe the symptoms?
I can't swim.
Right.
Because your pelvis is too heavy.
Bingo. Which is why I feel like this is cheeky, because it's like, I do suffer from this. Do you know what I mean? It's not self-diagnosed, it's just diagnosed.
Whoa. It's been diagnosed by a doctor?
I'm getting a doctorate soon, so...
Yeah, I've got one of them. They count for nothing.
No. Don't ruin this for me.
Trust me, I've done it. If they say on a plane, if we got a doctor and you put your hands up, you're in for a whole world of pain. Did you try swimming when you were younger, as a child?
I've drowned a few times, yeah.
Well, you haven't, have you?
Nearly drowned 3 times as a result of HPS.
When was the first time?
I'm in the pool, I'm in the middle, and I've got a decision to make. I could either walk back to the shallow end stairs, or walk towards the deep end. And as I start to stroll, I feel like an alarming amount of weight from my pelvis.
How would you weigh the pelvis?
It's not about how I weigh the pelvis, it's about how the pelvis weighs me down.
If you lie flat on the floor and we were to lift your pelvis, would we feel the weight?
Yeah,
You want to lift me with my pelvis? Come, darling.
Come on, then. If you could lie flat on the ground there, please, sir.
Well, put your knees up.
1 second, you gotta help me down.
Gotta help you down. Watch the belt. Boom! I'll tell you what, that's a heavy pelvis.
Put your knees up.
I think that maybe we should have a doctor in attendance.
Yep.
But then, if he puts his feet flat, we'll feel the weight of the pelvis, won't we?
Yeah, but he won't be able to lift. Just relax.
Yeah, it's not.
Is it heavy?
It's quite a heavy pelvis, but I think he might be forcing it down.
Help me up.
You need to compare it to another pelvis, really.
You!
Harry, you've had a chance to examine the patient. What would you recommend?
Well, I think you just need some swimming lessons.
What's it going to be?
You say true?
It's made up, of course it is. It's a lie.
I'll go with Jill. We'll say it's true. But I would like to point out, I don't think he's got it.
Right.
I think he believes he's got it.
Okay.
Koji, truth or lie?
HPS is a real syndrome, and it's true.
I was sick into the FA Cup.
Oh. Yeah. David's team.
Were you?
For the love of God, say yes.
I actually was.
That's a very good follow-up question. Under what circumstances?
So, basically, we just won the FA Cup, and then people do that thing where they pour the champagne into the FA Cup.
Who is we, Jill?
Manchester City.
Manchester City,
yeah,
right,
Manchester City. I take a sip of this champagne stuff, and I brought it back up into the FA Cup.
Did they sing a song like, we like to drink with Jill?
Because Jill is our mate. And when we drink with Jill, she dances our drinking 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, yay! And then and then I was sick, yeah. Are we the only two that go out?
Yeah, I've never heard that song.
That's also new to me.
I've never heard that in my life.
Well, you know what the worst thing was?
The person who got the second swig.
I didn't tell the girls.
Oh.
I know, because then they were passing it round.
This wasn't a full vomit. This was more like a short-term regurgitation.
Yeah, but I was a bit sick.
Did it go down the wrong hole?
No, it definitely went down the right hole.
I think the part that makes me suspicious is I believe Jill was a really nice person and she'd be like, oh, I've just puked in that.
Is that your definition of a nice person?
What do you reckon, Koji?
I reckon you did it.
It's like the end of EastEnders.
You think lie? So it's up to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that's true.
Jill, was it true? They think it was, or was it a lie?
So it was a lie.
I wrote a text moaning about my Strictly Dance partner, then accidentally sent it to my Strictly Dance partner.
Good Lord, Lee's team.
Who was the Strictly Dance partner?
Gilda Horn. So that I live in Germany, and he was my first Strictly partner.
So this is a German celebrity?
Yes, a
Gilda
singer.
Horn. He's not in the
Gilda-
adult film industry.
It's a quite famous man.
What's he famous for?
Singing. He's singing. It was my first year as a dancer on the German show, and it was actually a text before a very important competition, Blackpool, and I was really stressed out.
Blackpool?
Yes.
Does German Strictly get to Blackpool as well? No. Because that would be insane. I don't know why we go to Blackpool. The idea of people all over the world going to Blackpool.
All dancers go to Blackpool.
What did the text say?
Oh. I wrote something like, he's not great, and I'm so glad that this is over soon, and then I'll be stress-free for the rest of my life.
But then you sent it to him?
I sent it to him, and he was standing in front of me.
Why didn't you just tell him?
He asked me the same question.
How long had you known him at this point?
2 weeks.
So you were 2 weeks into the training?
Yes.
And who were you sending it to, the text, or you thought you were sending it to?
To my dance teacher, because he was asking me how you're keeping up.
Did you realise the moment his phone pinged?
No, I realised when he came to me.
Which was when? Straight away or in...
Straight away.
Wow, that's German and efficient, isn't it?
And what did he say?
He's like, thanks.
So how are things between you now, then, after this event?
We became intense friends because once the truth is out, it's out.
Lots of people become intense friends on Strictly, don't they?
No.
And how did you do ultimately, and how far did you go? I'm in the competition.
We were fifth. Not bad, right?
Not bad at all. What do you think, Shazia?
I think there's some truths in it, but it's generally a big lie.
What about you, Steve?
Yeah, there's a few things that don't quite add up for me. I'd go lie.
Think lie?
A lie.
OK, well, I'll go lie as well.
You're going to say that it's a lie?
Yeah.
OK, Motsi, it's a lovely story, but is it true or is it a lie?
Well, it's true.
I once went into a business meeting in a restaurant at the top of the Shard, but was so overcome by the views, I had to finish the meeting sat under the table.
David's team. Are you afraid of heights?
No. I'm just very into views. The view is just unbelievable of London, and I'm someone that's always been in awe of basically looking up. I read about that in my book, in fact.
That's the first time anyone has ever plugged a book.
There you go.
That's why he's a successful businessman.
And did you say you sat under the table?
I went under the table after. The reason why I ended up under the table was because I was uploading the photo to Instagram, and the lighting up there, it's so bright, so I went under the table and I uploaded the photo to Instagram saying, I'll just take in this picture, and I was blown away by it.
So instead of looking at the amazing view, you're looking at the internet.
Social media,
Yeah.
my background.
What was the business meeting about?
We were meeting the CMO of Adidas, I believe, to talk about one of their in-store activations that we were doing at the time, so...
Talking to them about the what?
We were doing a national in-store activation where visuals played in their stores on their...
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to a brand new show, The Generation Gap. Tonight, old David Mitchell will be meeting Stephen and he'll be getting very confused. Don't worry, we'll be bringing you a cup of tea in a moment.
A social media campaign with Adidas across...
Right, so lots of things on the internet about shoes. Smashing.
Right, What do you think? Is he telling the truth?
Well, it's interesting because it sounded like the story. He was under the table because he was so intimidated by the view or scared.
That's what I thought he was going to say.
But no, it's the opposite. It's you loved the view and you were so keen to share it because that's the thing you need to share it so that you can believe it actually happened. And that's the thing. We want to make a mark on the wall. Some build cathedrals, others tweet. We all want to leave a mark.
What about you, Chris?
I believe that Stephen is probably one of them kinds of guys that would like to relive the moment he's just had 5 minutes ago, rather than just having another moment.
What do you think, Jenny?
I think it's plausible, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Well, I think we'll go true.
You're going to say it's true?
Yeah.
Stephen, was it true, what you just said, or was it a lie?
It was a lie.
After seeing a regression therapist, I genuinely believe that in a past life, I used to be a medieval Frenchman.
David, Steve.
A regression therapist?
Yes.
So what's a regression therapist?
So it's a therapist who gives you regression.
I mean, thank you for putting those words in a different order.
More than welcome.
So why is it therapeutic to be told you were someone in the past?
Well, they don't tell you who you are. They get you to a place where you remember who you are.
Past-life regression takes a while to get to. So how many...
Have you done it?
I have started to talk to my therapist about it, but it's not an easy journey. It's a very bumpy ride to get to where you're going. So how long did it...
That may just be your therapist saying, Michelle, this is going to take quite a few sessions. At $350 a time.
You're on the nose. On the NHS, one session. Pull yourself together, thank you.
So go on then, Chizzy. What do they do?
You lie on the sofa, and it's kind of like being hypnotised, where you get to a certain state and they start asking you questions of what you can see.
And what could you see?
So the first thing I saw was I landed in this field and they said, what's on your feet? And I said they're like these metal shoes, and they sort of pointed.
So armour?
Yes.
Essentially the booty bit of armour?
Yes.
I've never heard you sound so butch in my life.
So I realised I was in armour because of the way I was walking, and then I walked towards this big castle. It was ruined. The castle was ruined completely.
So you're walking forward, clank, clank, clank. You go in the castle.
More likely to be clank, clank, clank once you get to the castle, which would probably have had some sort of floor, whereas the field was more...
Yes.
You walk to the castle, clank, 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 clank. And then there's like the drawbridge, a more resonant...
Clogum, clogum, clogum.
Yeah. And so you get there, and why is the castle ruined?
There's been a war.
Nothing to do with us.
Preempting what would be said next, so...
No, there's been a war, and there's also bears.
What?
There's bears.
From the Happy Mondays?
No, bears.
Bears from the Happy Mondays.
Oh, bears. No,
She said there was also bears.
Don't say it again, Rob.
I said from the Happy Mondays. Thank you.
So you're in a castle.
Yes.
The castle's in ruins.
Yes.
And there's bears.
What,
Yes.
from the Happy Mondays?
And is the idea behind this that we were all one person before, or we've been lots of people?
We've been lots of people before.
So if you go for the next session, you might get one of the other people.
Absolutely
You might not, and then you sort of go, I want to find out what happened to the medieval Frenchman. No, you can't do that. You're the Greek soothsayer today.
Some parts, I think, of the Buddhist faith believe that you carry on until you've lived every life.
That's it. Wow. So
Every life. At some point, David, I'm going to be you. And I'm going to do it differently.
But can you do it differently? In this system where we all get a go being everyone, doesn't it all just the ride goes the same, whatever? You sort of think, actually, no, I'm actually Lee Mack being David Mitchell, so I'm going to do it more northern. But it's too late. No, you've got to do David Mitchell. You can't. That could be happening now. You could be doing me, I could be doing you.
I'm not doing you now, David.
I think if you were doing yourself, you'd be being funnier than you are now with me doing it.
If I was doing myself now, I would be thrown off the show again.
What about you, David? Do you think you've lived other lives, David?
No, I don't think.
Do you
I've
have
lived
any
other
time
lives.
for this poppycock?
My
Is that your nickname for him? Get a room, you two!
Michelle, I think you're going true.
100%.
Right.
I mean, Michelle is so convinced that it's true.
Yeah.
That I would then go with Michelle.
It's not hard to believe you went to a therapist and lay down and closed your eyes and had a think. And that out of the thinking came some notion of clanking around, and that would make the story true, wouldn't it? I think we're going to say true.
Right. Chizzy, was it true, or were you telling a lie?
Oh, guys, come on. Yeah, it's true.
Whenever I need an energy boost, I'll stop doing what I'm doing and I hug a tree.
Right. Lee's team.
Right. When was the last time this happened, Gemma?
2 hours ago.
Didn't you arrive here about 2 hours ago?
I did. and
Where
when
in Elstree Studios did you find this tree?
Well, when I turned up, I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, meeting Rob, I'm his biggest fan. That's why I agreed to do the show. And that is the truth. You don't know how buzzing I am to be this close to him.
It's a lie.
So basically, I felt really nervous and I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to see him with my own 2 eyes, not just through the TV screen. I need to hug a tree and ground myself.
What tree was it?
My security guard took me over to Tesco's.
Stop. Your security guard?
Yeah.
Did you think there's a chance that maybe Rob would attack you today?
Yeah, I was hoping. I was absolutely hoping.
Can I just say, I'm genuinely confused and I'm not quite sure how to react.
So he took me to Tesco's. There was no trees in the car park, but they were selling cherry blossom trees.
Oh.
So I was like, do you know what? That'll have to do. So I hugged the cherry blossom to ground myself.
No.
And I did some breathing techniques, and I was like...
What are the breathing techniques? In and then out, and then in and then out?
No, it was like... Rob.
Before today, what was the last time it happened?
This morning.
And what was...
that's today. I love nature, so literally...
So do I.
I go outside in my garden naked most mornings.
You go out naked and hug a tree?
So, you're in Shaka Khan. You're in
a secure unit fancying Rob.
You're in the garden. You're in the garden and you're naked. Now, here's the question on all our lips, which is, what about the neighbours?
So, when I moved into the house, I was like, there's not enough trees. And I watched, I think it was David Attenborough, one of them, Spring Watch or something like that, where they said every time you plant a tree, you're putting air back into the oxygen.
True.
So I rung my local garden centre.
I think you've got that the other way round.
Something like that. Oh, yeah.
That's all the right words, not necessarily in the right order.
Yeah. I went to my local garden centre and I bought, like, hundreds of trees to, like, block the neighbours' view.
So, Sally, what are you thinking?
Do you know, it's that bizarre, Gemma, that I'm sort of believing you.
The GC, you know, her kind of persona is, you know, Essex, glitz and glamour. But I do think you are quite at one with nature as well.
Yeah.
So, what do we think?
I have no doubt she loves trees. The bit I doubt is that she loves you. It's a lie.
All right, so you're going to say it's a lie. OK, Gemma, was it true or was it a lie?
It's true!
Possession.
OK, there's a box under your desk. Could you take the item out of the box, pop it on the desk, and then read the card?
This was my lucky mascot, Thumper. When I played for England, he had his own seat on the coach next to me and was always the last person I looked in the eye before leaving the dressing room.
Wow. These two.
Can we get him?
Yes, let's see your sporting
Don't throw it
prowess.
forward. Do not throw it forward, otherwise that will be a foul.
You could pass it to me if you want. Team play.
Yes, of course. Catch it, please.
That's quite a thrill for me. Thank you.
Thumper.
What? Be careful with that.
Be careful.
Oh, Morgana.
Oh, Morgana, what are you doing?
Of all the places you could look.
Does it smell of?
Success. Yes.
I would like. Imagine if this was. It would smell of like jock straps and sweat. And just mud and general.
Wow. Where did he come from, Hugo? Where did you acquire him?
Had him as a child.
As a child, so a gift from a kindly parent or relative.
Hang on. This belongs to Johnny Wilkinson. What's that? So, how long have you had him?
About 25 years.
OK, keep an eye on his face. Would that annoy you a bit?
Sorry?
I'm just checking out if that annoys you. He seems you're not that bothered, doesn't he? Look, I'm doing that.
So you said he sat next to you on the coach. How did that come about?
So I started playing rugby age 13 and I went to boarding school and he came along with me and he was a comfort to me at school.
Right.
Can I give him back now? I feel like...
No, you can't, because you're going to fuzz him.
No, don't worry.
No, you don't.
I'll pretend it's...
No!
It's a conversion! It's a conversion!
No, you can't! No, you can't do that.
No!
You can't. No, you're clapping!
All right, so what do you think, Morgana?
I don't think the bunny smells right. It smells too clean. It smells like it's out of a kid's toy shop.
What do you think, Tom?
I think that you'd be terrified, be very scared of being bullied at the age of 13, going away to boarding school. The last thing you're going to do is attract attention to yourself by bringing out your thumping rabbit.
Lee?
I think I'm going to go with my team and say that is a lie.
OK. Hugo, were you telling us the truth or was it a lie?
Lie.
I once had to explain to the police why I had 2 coffins in the back of my van.
David's team.
Imagine I'm the police. Why have you got 2 coffins in the back of your van, sir?
Well, I was doing a touring play at the time, and there was vampires in it.
Yeah.
So we had 2 coffins in the back of the van as props. And we were actually in Germany doing this play called Neighbours with Long Teeth. And
Things never translate from English to German.
Why did the police stop you?
Well, unbeknownst to us, the head of the Deutsche Bank had just been assassinated in Frankfurt.
Right.
And they were stopping everyone.
And so they were pulling over basically all vans?
They were looking for anything dodgy, basically, I guess.
Right.
Where were you? Which city?
It was just outside Frankfurt.
I live there.
Do you?
Yeah.
So they pulled you over.
Machine guns, everything. Very, very serious situation.
Yeah.
And we had to explain the plot of our play, Neighbours with Long Teeth.
Because you speak a bit of German. So
Yeah.
you were the... How many of you were there?
3 of us.
Oh, you should have said 9.
What sort of venues are you touring around?
Schools.
Schools. So...
Schools. The plot went that I was a sort of young 17-year-old schoolboy who'd fallen in love with my neighbour who was a vampire. And she came up out of the coffin, and that's where we first met.
And what was the other coffin for?
The other coffin was for her parents, her mum or her dad. I think they shared, because they're a married couple, they're allowed to...
I mean, to be fair, Motsi is loving this show.
And how did you explain all this to the police?
It was a lot of mime.
But it's quite a complex plot, so how would you convey it to them?
I think they had more things on their mind than the full... They didn't get to Act 3.
So, yeah. Yes, at what point in your description of the story did they glaze over?
Right, Bez, what do you think?
Well, I love the plot of Neighbours with long teeth, and it's got to be true with Stephen, I reckon.
You think true, Motsi?
You don't think any of this is true, do you? You don't think this is really happening?
But don't you remember when the president of the Deutsche Bank was assassinated in Frankfurt?
When did this happen?
It would have been its late 80s.
I just born. Like.
So you're not a suspect?
That wasn't a big part of your childhood. Let us tell you the story of the president of the Deutsche Bank.
Right, what's it going to be?
Well, I live around Frankfurt area. I mean, even if I wasn't there in the 80s, I think I would have heard the story.
How old were you when you went to Germany?
18.
You arrived in Frankfurt
Yes.
over 20 years after Steve's van was pulled over. I am not surprised they didn't mention it.
But this is a story. This is culture. You carry that on.
A school's tour of a play about vampires, and the police pull over their van once on what was quite a busy day for the police. I cannot share your confidence that they would have mentioned it to you, an 18-year-old dancer coming from South Africa. I don't think that will be on the things you need to know. Local restaurants, you know, this is how you pay the tax. The bins come on Tuesdays. Oh, and I must tell you, back in the late 80s, there was a guy here and he had a couple of coffins in his van. Turned out it was just a school's tour. If that's what you're basing it on, I'm going with Bez.
OK. So you're saying it's true?
Yes.
So, Steve, was it true or was it a lie?
True.
And they never mentioned it.
Whenever someone sits down next to me in public, I always say boing out loud just as their bottom hits the seat and then see what happens next.
David's team.
So as they sit down, does it have to be right next to you, or
They have to be able to hear me say it.
Do you say it quietly? Do you say it loud?
I don't think I've ever done anything quietly in my life. Do you want to demonstrate?
Yeah, let's have a go.
I'll demonstrate.
Lee, can you stand?
Just about. What's this for acting?
Boy,
Oh.
And is it?
That was unusual. Yeah. Do you vary the boings according to who's sitting down?
Yes.
What would you do? What would you do for David? Would you stand up?
David.
Let's let David sit and just go with the flow here, Jade.
Right, OK.
OK.
Boing.
Much perter.
I'm trying to work out which is best.
I know which is best. I think it's very clear which is best.
Oh, yeah. Jade, would you indulge me?
OK.
Yeah.
Well, stand up, then.
I am standing up.
Boing.
Is that a Welsh boy?
Yeah. It's just quite Welsh, but also quite seductive.
Ellie, what do you think?
I can see it, you doing it. Do you have to be on it? Do you have to be focused? So when someone sits down, they go, boing.
I don't think about it that hard. It's just... it's just if someone...
You can spot the Olympian, can't you? You have to be on it. You have to be focused. I don't really think about it, really. OK, David, it's time to be a captain, to be a leader.
OK, what do you think?
Real leadership quality, that.
I'd love it to be true, but I think it might be false.
I think, that, having got to know you, I think this is absolutely credible. I think it's very much the truth.
David?
Well, I was going to say it's probably not the truth, because what she said is that every time someone sits down next to her, she goes boing. And I don't think anyone would do that. OK, we're going to say it's not true, it's a lie.
You're going to say it's a lie. OK, Jade, was it true or was it a lie?
It's a lie.
Right.
Can I just check, are they the right glasses? Because you're pausing.
No, I was once asked to host an awards ceremony after being mistaken for someone else.
Was it Rob Brydon? Was it Rob Brydon's son?
Oh, that Death in Paradise has gone downhill since Arda left it.
Well, first of all, who was this person?
Well, our esteemed host.
Oh, so it was Rob?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. OK.
Do you know that you look alike?
Well, I don't know that. I do know this. He's a very good-looking man.
I mean, it's a pleasure being next to the handsomest man on television. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much.
So, talk us through how this mix-up came about, then.
I was at a do, and somebody asked me if I would host this particular awards.
And what were the awards
ceremony.
for?
It was sort of building industry contractors awards thing. Would I go and give out the awards for best cement? I said, "What's the fee?" By the way.
Oh, that's when he thought you were Rob Brydon.
And it was quite considerable, so I took it.
When they thought you were Rob, did you immediately say, "No, I'm not Rob"?
No, I just laughed it off.
You did the gig, or you didn't?
Yeah, I did the gig.
Did?
Yeah.
I tell you what, when they saw you walk out, there'll be a fair few people saying, "Good God, he's shot up." I had that late growth spurt.
I'd like to know more about the cement. I don't think either of you would be booked for cement. I've done these gigs.
You've done these corporates
I've done
yourself?
Chip Fat.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, the Chip Fat
Wait,
Awards.
hold on.
You haven't done the Chip Fat
There's
Awards.
a Chip Fat Awards. I'm stunned you would question my cement awards and then give me Chip Fat.
I don't believe it.
You don't?
I don't, and I'm really gullible.
Why don't you believe it?
It's the cement for me.
What about you, Ralph? What are you thinking?
I think it's a lie. It's got to be a lie.
OK. Right. You lovely-looking man. Was it true or was it a lie?
It was true.
I once faked a school trip to fool my mum into letting me go to France.
David's team.
So you faked a school trip?
Faked a school trip.
How? What did you say?
My mother was extremely strict. Never let me go anywhere or do anything. I was 17. I wanted to go to France. I was studying A-level French. So I tricked her into thinking it was imperative for me to go on this trip.
I'd have thought if it was an educational thing, most mums would be all for it, wouldn't they?
That's the point she's just made.
No. My mother was super overprotective of us.
Right.
Like, she didn't let us go anywhere. She had a scrapbook of bus and train crashes. That she'd bring out and go, "You see these children? They went on their school trip and now they are dead." Stuff like that.
Wow. Was there actually a school trip?
No, there was no school trip. I went on my own. But
So did you just tell your very strict, fearful of death mother, "There's this school trip," and she went, "OK, there's a school trip"?
I basically got all my friends to turn up at the train station with suitcases.
You're not serious?
To make it look like it was a school trip.
And they weren't going to France with you?
No. And then my mum came, said goodbye, and then we all got on the train and they got off at the next stop.
Where did you go in France?
I went to Touraine.
Touraine?
Touraine. Which
Why
is
did you go to Touraine?
Because there was a French course there, and the council gave free trips for kids who were studying A-levels.
So you actually lied to your mum to go to France, but actually went to a French course?
Yeah.
So you didn't go clubbing or go out and do anything? You
I did
actually
that.
went and studied?
I did that. I slept with a guy while I was there, but I did go...
But you also
initially
did
to study.
So it was part fun, part academic?
Yeah.
What year was this?
I'm going to say the 80s.
Because I was there in the 80s.
Yeah, 80s, yeah.
So how long was it?
It's me! I remember you.
I thought you were black.
What are you thinking, Romesh?
The way that Gina talks about her mum is the same way that I sort of, you know, Sri Lankan parenting is very, very similar. What I can't understand is how you wouldn't be just incredibly anxious, because if even there was the slimmest chance of your mum finding out, you would not be with us today.
What do you think, Jessica?
I think it's completely 100% true.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely.
Do you know what I liked? Touraine. Not Paris.
No.
It's not obvious, is it? Touraine. Who knows? But yes, that's the sort of thing, a place in France. Yes, my town is twinned with Touraine. They've got a biscuit factory. I think it's true.
You're going to say true? Gina, truth or lie?
It is true.
I once made a 72-hour round trip to Australia just to pick up a really rare record because I couldn't risk it getting damaged in the post.
Beastie.
Wow. What was the record? 100-metre sprint?
It was a rare Northern Soul record.
By?
Frank Wilson.
And what was the record called?
It was called Do I Love You, Indeed I Do. It was originally printed and all 500 presses were smashed because Motown didn't like it. But 2 survived, well, 2 knowingly survived. We thought we'd find a 3rd one.
Is it a single or an album?
It's a 7-inch.
Sorry, but the flying all that way for a 7-inch doesn't seem like a very good use of time or money. Yeah.
The one that we know of, that I know of, sold for £28,000, so it's quite...
And how much were you paying for it?
Well, we thought we could get it for about 9 grand.
Where did you get it from? Was it from eBay or something?
No, it was just from some research, and someone phoned up and said he thinks she's got a copy of it in Melbourne, Australia.
OK.
So I went over on Qantas.
So when you got there, did the 3rd one exist?
It did exist, yeah, but it was in such a bad state. It was like someone had glued it back together.
So you couldn't play it?
No, you couldn't play it, no.
Craig, could you do a bit of the song?
Do I love you? Do I love you? Do I...
Oh, it was scratched, wasn't it? Presume you'd have been expected, if you'd have brought it back, expected to pay import duty?
I wasn't expecting that.
You might not have been expecting it, but I suspect they were.
Jeremy, what do you think?
It just seems so impractical to fly that distance and pay that amount of money to buy something. So I'm edging towards lie here.
Did you offer him anything?
I did offer him £5,000.
And he said no?
And I brought it home.
Oh,
you did buy it?
So you've got it now, have you?
Yeah.
This now sounds true.
I think it's true.
Yeah, well, I think he's well known for his love of music, so he might be mad enough to do that. We'll say it's true.
Saying it's true. They think it's true, Craig. Was it true, or were you telling us a lie?
I was telling you a lie.
I recently wrote a rap about the benefits of sensible pension planning.
Oh, you've got David's interest.
Could you do a bit of that rap, or...?
I don't really remember it.
You've forgotten it?
Yeah, it was a while back.
You said recently?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I'm new here.
How did it come about?
I do a lot of adverts for people, and they want me to rap for them. I'm a musician as well as a TV chef, and I normally rap about stuff for money.
Very honest about it.
And so you were commissioned by essentially an advertising agency?
Yeah, the pensions from the government.
Do you remember any of the lines from the rap?
I know a part of it went, pension, pension.
I'm going to say something. As an actor, often when you finish a show, the whole thing goes. As soon as I've done your last show, you cannot remember a
Only
thing.
he didn't, because he just sang 2 lines.
No, what he did, Gabby, was he went, pension, pension.
What he should have done is put a little bit of the rap away each month, and then, you know...
Can you remember the specifics of what the rap was trying to get across?
It was about just taking away the stigma of pensions.
Stigma?
I don't think People aren't ashamed of their pensions. I think, I mean, my parents, I think they're quite pleased they've got pensions. They're happy to take their pension money and use it to live with.
And have you remembered any more of it in the intervening minutes?
I'm under a lot of pressure right now.
Yes.
So I can't... There's a lot of tension about the pensions.
That'll do.
There we go. He's writing my lyrics now.
So what do you reckon?
I'm not aware of a recent government campaign to raise awareness and get rid of the stigma of pensions among young people.
I don't think you not being aware of this campaign should direct us in one way or another.
You think
because
it might?
I don't think your algorithm is what they would aim big zoos adverts.
You get those walk-in bath adverts, don't you? Come on then, David Mitchell.
So you think it might be true?
I'm weighing towards truth.
Yeah, I think it's true.
We're going to go true then.
OK, you're going to go with your team. Zoo, they think it's true. Was it true or was it a lie?
It is true.
Yeah!
All right, I've had to up security at my gigs because old women won't stop kissing me.
Ooh.
Please, team.
How old are these women?
I would suggest maybe like 60 upwards.
And what kind of
Whoa,
kisses...
whoa, whoa, sorry, you're saying that's old? Don't listen to him, Rob.
What kind of kisses are they going in for?
They're going for a smooch on the cheek. Some might try and get one on the lips, but it's like, no.
And are they trying to get on the stage, or is this at the back?
No. This is at the meet and greet. So I do meet and greets at some of the... Yeah, at some of the smaller
You charge
venues.
extra for that?
No.
Could be.
I mean, I could, but I don't want to, you know what I mean?
It's not that kind of meat.
Do you not like...
I'm not suggesting he's offering himself as a gigolo.
You should tour with Claudia, you could do meat and gravy. So, how bad does it get? I mean, obviously...
It gets bad.
Are we talking a bit of hand-grabbing as well?
Yes.
And are we talking a bit of, like, when the photo happens, arm round, bit of a squeeze?
Yes, I've had that, I've had that.
And they say, get off.
No. I've had, let me tell you something, I've had a couple, husband, wife, and I've had, like, while we're taking a picture, I've had the wife's hand on my bum.
Squeezing it?
Yes. Full on, and I'm like, in the picture, I'm like...
What are we thinking? Was Babatunde telling the truth?
I think he's got an approachable way about it.
And especially on the, you know, I'm a celebrity, they share everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they feel like they know him.
I think it's true.
I think it's a lie, actually. And I think he's just showing off.
I'll go with you. I'll say
You're
true.
saying true.
Yeah.
All right, they think it's true, Babatunde. Was it true, or were you telling a lie?
It is, in fact, true.
Bono once fixed the flush on my downstairs loo.
Please, team.
Is that a euphemism?
Might be worth saying, Kimberly, for some of the younger viewers, Bono, of course, is the lead singer of Spandau Ballet. Sorry, you two.
I thought you were going to explain what a loo was.
And so what happened?
So we were on tour in Ireland.
And when are we talking about, Kimberly? What year would
So
this
this
have
would have been like mid-2005-ish, I reckon.
OK.
And we were staying in these kind of like apartments, so it was the toilet downstairs in the apartment.
OK.
So basically, I went out to like the concierge type bit in the apartment block.
Bono wasn't working as the concierge, was he?
And Bono actually happened to be in the reception area at the same time. So I start shouting off that the loo's blocked. So then we start chatting, and then he's like, "Oh, sure, I'll fix the loo."
Was he wearing sunglasses?
Yeah, he always wears sunglasses.
That is him.
Is that it?
Always wears sunglasses.
So how exactly did Bono unblock that toilet?
So he lifts up, you know, what's it called? The cistern. fiddles around with that floaty thing, the ball cock, and he's like, Bob's your uncle. Life lesson learned from Bono. Thrilled.
Were all girls allowed in the same apartment?
No, we had 2 between us.
Who were you with?
I was with Cheryl.
So you and Cheryl, what, in a twin room?
No,
or do you have
we
your own
had
bedroom?
our own rooms. I got carried away.
If I was getting carried away, I wouldn't have said twin beds, I'd said a double bed, wouldn't I? And trust me, I wouldn't have had in the background the idea that your toilet was blocked.
What are you thinking, Sam?
Oh, can I ask, being in like a famous pop group, is that just a roller coaster?
Yes, it is. It really
That's quite a very general question, Sam.
I think it's true. I think that it's not you in your highest moment, so I think to present this is really brave.
The bit I don't like is the concierge going, yes, I'll just sort that out for you. Wait a minute, I'll sort this out. Oh, it's right, Bono from U2 is going to do it, that's all right.
So what do you think? Is it the truth?
I think it's a lie.
All right, we'll go with lie.
OK, you're going to say it's a lie. Kimberly, was it a lie or was it actually the truth?
It was, of course, a lie.
Age 11, I got my first ever detention for secretly watching Would I Lie to You on my phone in class.
Oh. Well, that makes me feel old.
Can we ask how old you are now?
I'm 20.
So 9 years ago. Well, this programme was on 9 years ago.
Yes.
I can confirm that. So,
It's a family-friendly show.
family-friendly show. What lesson were you in?
I was in RE.
How many times had you done this?
I'd done it, like, quite a few times before.
Watching
so it's
us or just watching telly generally?
mainly Would I Lie to You.
Here's a question, then. Who was on?
OK, David was on.
Good start.
You were on as well.
Yeah, that's I'm in this.
Yeah, so...
Rob was on, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I think it was one of the episodes with Bob Mortimer.
Oh, you're playing safe,
Oh,
aren't
that's
you?
that's a very easy choice, isn't it?
So, you know when you was watching this, was you streaming it or did you buy the box set?
I was just streaming it.
You don't have that much data. How much data did you have?
You can
9 years ago. You used to get 1 gigabyte 9 years ago.
I
That's
downloaded
300
it.
megabytes per episode.
Is it? That's very specific knowledge.
Yeah, man. I used to work at the Apple store.
I tell you what.
Did you really? Is that true?
Do you remember what you were supposed to be studying in RE that day?
There's a lot of religions. I think it was Hinduism.
OK.
I mean, much as I find the show entertaining, I don't know if it's more entertaining than Hinduism.
That's our second trailer from Frank. So what were we saying?
Oh, I think... What did you think? A lie?
I'm going for a lie. I don't think she would have been allowed her phone.
Lie. Lucy?
I think it's a lie.
I'll go with my team.
But it might be true.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's go with...
We've never done this before, but can I have a substitute?
Let's go with lie.
OK, we'll go with lie.
Lie. OK, they think it's a lie. Abby, was it a lie or was it actually the truth?
It was a lie.
Yes. During my driving test, the examiner made me pull over because he'd spotted someone breaking into his house.
Please, team.
Driving test or driving instruction?
Driving test.
You're actually on your test. How old were you then?
18, I think.
And talk us through the conversation.
I was going down the dual carriageway. That bit was fine, and then we pulled off and we went to a residential area. I didn't know the area.
You just changed that, didn't you? We're going down the dual carriageway, and then we pulled off and went to a residential area. What houses are that can be broken into? Yes, carry on, Rav.
And we pulled off.
Yeah.
And he just screamed, stop.
Just screamed, stop. Yes.
So I stopped the car.
So you stopped the car?
And he ran out.
So he got out, and did he even say what he was doing?
He ran to a house that had a ladder.
Oh, he didn't tell you anything, he just ran out of the car.
Ran.
So at this point you're thinking, I'm not doing very well, am I?
But I knew something was up because...
He'd said stop and ran out of the car.
No, because mine's...
Exactly the same thing happened on my driving test.
He just ran out the car and ran to the house that had a ladder on the outside because he thought someone was breaking into the house, which I later found out.
Talk us through then what happens.
he came back and said, no one's breaking into the house. It was the window cleaner.
I've got a question for you. That house must have been empty, otherwise you wouldn't have been so panicky, correct?
Quite possibly, I don't know.
Where was the window cleaner getting the water?
An outside tap?
All right, what are we thinking? Sue, what do you make of this?
Well, you see, I'm just thinking the examiner could have actually liked the look of that house and said stop and dashed up because he probably thought, I just want to see if there's anything worth myself burgling.
Oh, you thought he was a burglar?
Yes.
So you thought my examiner turned burglar? There's an angle we hadn't thought of.
Yes. Did he have any jewels when he came back?
I like the way Sue thinks her job here is to develop the story.
Sue, I could see you and Rav, prime-time BBC One, as a new crime-fighting duo. He's very much the traditional copper, but you think a little bit outside of the box.
Oh, I'd be like Sister Boniface.
Who's Sister Boniface?
She's a nun who's a detective.
What channel's Sister Boniface on?
20.
Channel 20. I've not
Channel
heard
20.
Channel 20 or Sister Boniface, but this is... I'm going to write this down.
What do you reckon, Chris?
So do I think that Rav had to stop his car in a driving test because the driving instructor saw a man on a ladder at his house and thought it was a burglar, but it was the window cleaner? Yes, I do.
You think it's true?
Wow.
Susan Pollard.
Oh, dear. I'm going to go... it's...
What are you thinking? I'll help you with your dilemma.
Well, you've been hopeless so far. You're not giving...
You think out loud, Sue. Can I just say, your character in Heidi High, I always thought was an exaggeration of your character. Turns out it was toned down, wasn't it?
It is true.
You say true. We'll take
True.
that.
I'm going to go with my teammates and say it's true.
OK. Rav, you've convinced them, but was it the truth or was it a lie?
It is, in fact, a lie.
On an American tour, I was repeatedly stopped by customs officials because I'd been pranked by Rod Stewart.
David's team.
Right. That's
Rod Stewart is a popular singer.
Thank you. So you're on tour in America?
Yes.
The United States of?
And South America.
South America where?
Brazil.
Just Brazil?
Yeah, forget the Rod Stewart bit. This is the real interesting bit.
OK, so we were doing a show, and Rod Stewart was there.
Which of the countries of the Americas did Rod Stewart attend your show in?
Well, this was in Ireland.
Had he come just to see McFly?
No, he was doing the same show. It was a toy show.
A toy show?
Yeah, at Christmas time. Big celebration, loads of toys.
Yes.
And McFly and Rod Stewart.
Was it a dream you had?
So Rod was there, and he's like, hey, Danny! And I'm like, hey, Rod!
Sure you haven't been watching Rocky?
So he said, do you want a lift?
Does he mean drugs?
He went back home. He's like, well, I'll give you a lift on my jet.
Wasn't he sailing?
He said, oh, I need your passports. So we get on the plane, give our passports to him, and then fly to London.
Right.
So then we get a call from our tour manager. I think he was applying for a visa. So then he was like, guys, bad news. And he'd drawn willies on our heads.
Rod Stewart?
Like, yeah.
So Rod Stewart?
Oh, on your passport?
Yeah, no.
I just assumed that you just fell asleep on the plane.
So did this mean they wouldn't recognise you at customs unless you drew a willy on your own?
It wasn't fun travelling around. Every customs were like, you think that's funny? Like, no, but you won't. The story is Rod Stewart drew it.
Well, it's going to delay you a lot if you tell this story.
When you told people at customs that Rod Stewart had drawn these appendages on your head, did they believe you?
Well, no, so we stopped saying that.
Why would Rod Stewart be performing at a toy show in Ireland? That doesn't add up.
Oh, but it's all right for McFly to do that, is it?
Right, time to go for a guess, David. What do you think?
I think it's false.
You think it's...
I don't think it's true.
You don't think it's true? I think it's true. I'm not confident enough to overrule. I'm just, you know...
Well, what are you doing in the captain's seat, then, you coward?
Despite my scepticism, we're going to say, as a team, that we think that's a lie.
You think it's a lie? OK, Danny, was it a lie or were you actually telling the truth?
I was actually telling the truth.
I was once a body double for a head lice advert.
David's team.
What do you mean a body double?
I had head lice at the time. OK. They show the boy, and then they show the back of the head with the lice. I was not the boy, but that back of the head, and those are my lice.
So when they were casting the advert, they thought, well, we can't cast someone who's necessarily infested themselves.
The lady who invented the comb, it was her son.
Which comb are we talking about?
The Knitbusters comb.
Knitbusters?
Yeah.
So the person that invented the comb for head lice,
yeah,
her son was in the advert?
It's called nepotism, David.
Odd name for your son.
Where are we in Australia, Sam?
Oh, you're not having one of your breakdowns again, are you?
This is in Queensland, dude.
How did they know you had head lice? Because you don't advertise that, do you?
Best friends with this guy, yeah. Him and I were as thick as thieves.
Right, so was it like one of them shopping channels?
Weirdly, I think it was on the news. It was at the end of the news, they'd be like, and now we've got this comb.
So it's on the news?
Yeah.
I thought you said it was an advert.
Here are the head lice.
Yeah. I think it was a thinly veiled advert, and, you know, so sue me.
You think it was advertorial, that's what you're saying? When was this?
I was pretty young at the time. 10 or 11.
When was that?
When I was in primary school.
Yeah,
when? We realised that. We're trying to ascertain the year.
A year on.
Maybe year 6, I guess. No way, I was much younger.
You haven't said what you had to do in this advert or this appearance.
So I just was the back... You know, like, any time you see someone's hands in a movie, that's not really their hands.
That's not true. That is true. What you mean is sometimes when you see someone's hands.
I think every time.
Not every time. Sometimes when they scratch their face, that's their hand. If you see Tom Cruise scratching his face, there's not someone going...
Cruise has got a scratcher. Cruise has got a scratcher.
So, in the 1990s, there was a breakthrough in the treatment of nits in Australia. A new comb was marketed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was so great about it? What was new about it? That the previous
I think the spacing between the teeth on this comb was just really gobsmacking.
Up until then, they were like that far apart. They just...
Unless it's a very big nit. Yeah.
It's the obvious design feature to tinker with on a comb, isn't it?
How did you feel when they offered you this? Because in the one level, oh, I'm going to be on the telly, but showing my nits.
I mean, I know this guy who's dancing in a window to get his foot in the door.
All right, well, what do you think?
You know, mainly because you mixed up advert and news. Otherwise, I'm totally buying it.
Me, I think definitely lie.
I think lie. I think we do think it's a lie. I mean, you have a disconcerting presence.
No.
So
You say the warmest things to the guests, David.
But there's also something ghostly about you. I wouldn't be surprised if at the next recording they said, wasn't it weird that on Lee's team we only had one guest? I said, no, there was another guest, Sam, who was from Australia. And Rob says, there is no such place. But I think we think it's a lie.
They're saying it's a lie.
It's a lie.
Sam, truth or lie?
That's true.
No!